How's it going? Dave from Comic Book Investments. Well, today is Memorial Day weekend, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to do something a little different. Do a top 10 video, but do it of superheroes that have died and have stayed dead. Because every superhero pretty much dies and then comes back, like Superman, Captain America, all that kind of stuff. They always end up dying, and then they end up bringing them back. But I want to do ones basically to memorialize those who have died and have stayed dead. So this top 10, it's not in any particular order. I just picked out like 10 characters that I thought were pretty prevalent for their time and what they were doing that have died. So there's a lot of small characters that have died and never come back. But these are more characters that are like, were important, slightly more important, and slightly bigger. So yeah, and like always, I compare them to the grade range they're in, to how much they've gained over years and things like that. So I'll do the same for that. But yeah, so let's go through this list. I want you to take a guess at who do you think number one is. I bet you won't guess, or at least you might guess, but not the comic. All right, so let's go. So number 10. We got Detective Comics 298. This is Matt Hagen, the second Clayface. He appeared in Detective 298. He died in Crisis Infinite Earths. Right now, you can pick up one. I'm doing this as a 5.0, so if you just look at the picture, that will be kind of like the grade that these prices are from. And I pick a certain grade for each book based off of the attainability. Like, can you actually get this book, or is it super rare? Like, if I put this as a 9.8, you're not going to find it. So 5.0, pretty easy to obtain. Decent book grade for this book, because it's actually kind of hard to get a high grade of this book. So yeah, you're looking at 375. Now, in 2016, it was about 325. In 2011, it was $57. So a 5-year return, you're looking at 15%, not that much. 10-year return, 558%. And if you look down at the bottom, you'll see a 10-year return for the Dow Jones compared to the stock market is 163%. To the S&P 500, 197%. So this comic book clearly blows them out of the water. And then I took two of one of the best stocks there are in the last 10 years, Amazon and Apple, and it comes close to Apple's return on your investment, ROI, but not anywhere near Amazon. All right, moving on to number 9. Avengers 6, HEINRICH ZEMO. So this is Baron Zemo, and there's been multiple iterations of Baron Zemo, and this is the one that appeared in Avengers 6. He did have a cameo in Avengers 4, but I'm more his like full first appearance. He died in a battle with Captain America. He was shooting some lasers at him, and it got reflected, and it ended up hitting a rock or something, and it fell on him and killed him. All right. So this is not the Zemo that was in, I believe it's not the Zemo that's in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I think that's the next Zemo. I'm not sure though. All right. Right now, you can pick up a book for around $900, and this is in an 8.0. 2016, you're like $450. In 2011, you're looking $290. So that is a 5-year return of 100%, 10-year return of 210. And again, that beats out the S&P 500 and Dow Jones, but does not come close to Apple or Amazon. Moving on to number 8. All American Comics number 19. And this is the first appearance of Al Pratt, the Atom. And he was killed, he was aged to death by a villain called the Extant. I don't know. I think I'm saying that right now. All right, so this is an old Golden Age superhero. I'm looking at a 5.0, and in a 5.0, you can pick one up for about $6,000. Now, you're not going to really find these. These are pretty rare, but I thought this was kind of cool to bring an old Golden Age in there. 2016, it was looking about 4,000, and in 2011, you're looking about 3,000. So 5-year return, 48%, 10-year return, 100%. So not as good as the Dow, S&P 500, or other things, but still a good return on your investment. These books are really rare, so it can kind of go almost anywhere depending if you can find the right person to pay that price. But yeah, this Adam, he didn't shrink down. He was actually just a strong guy for a while, and then they're like, well, we got to give him superpowers. So he had, he could like do some kind of radiation or molecular something with his fists, and so he had the atom punch, which he punched, and it was just a really strong punch. I don't know, kind of thing. So, but yeah, he is a no more. He is dead. Number 7, the Irredeemable Ant-Man #1, and this is the first appearance of Eric O'Grady, which was the third Ant-Man. So he wasn't really much of a hero per se, but he ended up getting beaten to death protecting a little girl, I believe. And so he kind of redeemed himself. He did come back, but it turned out to be like a clone type of fake thing. It wasn't really him. And he called himself the Black Ant. But yeah, that wasn't him. Yeah, so you can pick up a book in a 9/8. We're looking at 9/8, about $144 right now. 2016 was about $75. 2011 was $16. So pretty much not worth barely the case cost. A 5-year return of 92% and a 10-year return of 800%. So yes, that comes close to Apple. Obviously, destroys Dow Jones and S&P 500. So that's kind of cool. All right, moving on to number 6. Captain Atom 83. And this is the first appearance of the second Blue Beetle, Ted Korg. He was shot in the head and killed. I believe he came back in I think an alternate universe, but then he was killed there anyway, so he's still dead regardless. We're looking at about an 8.0, and right now you can get one for $410. 2016, you're looking at about $425, and 2011 $400. So actually negative 4% in a 5-year return and only 3% gain in a 10-year return. So it hasn't really gone up, but there's 3 different iterations of the Blue Beetle. One was just a guy with the name pretty much. And then this guy, Ted Korg, he had a scarab, which gave him some abilities. But then the one is, I forget his name, the third one, which is the more common one. He's the one that's going to be in the movie coming up. And I think this will get a boost just because of that. So I think this will actually is a pretty good buy and probably go up in the future when a Blue Beetle starts to hit the big screen. All right, number 5, Power Man 24, and this is the first appearance of Black Goliath, Bill Foster. He actually appeared in Avengers 32, but he was just an assistant to Hank Pym, Ant-Man. He died in Civil War, that whole series that happened. So he's no longer here. You can get about a 9.4. 9.4 is about $200 now. In 2016 is 140. In 2011, 48. 5-year return, 43%. 10-year return, 317%. So beating out the stock market, but not beating out Apple and Amazon. So still pretty cool. All right, moving on to number 4. Watchmen #1 and Rorschach. He was killed by Dr. Manhattan towards the end of the series because he has a certain code he lives by, and he wasn't willing to forego that code just because Dr. Manhattan wanted him to, so killed him. All right, right now you can get a 9.8. That's pretty common, but you want to get it in, if you got a 9.8, it's going to run you about $960. In 2016, it was $275. In 2011, it was $125. 5-year return, you're looking at about 250%. 10-year return, you're looking at 668%. So pretty good, almost as much as Apple. Now, these aren't going up based off of percentage. As you see, there's ones that were a lot less. I'm just more going, it's more of a fun thing and going up based off of, just how relatable and important these characters are. in their universe. All right. I think Rorschach, they came out with a second Rorschach, but isn't this guy. Is a different one. This one's dead. So a lot of these characters are gone, but they're actually back, but they're like a different person, right? Just like the Blue Beetle is dead, but now there's a new Blue Beetle, completely different person, slightly different powers. Same with like the Ant-Man and stuff like that. All right, moving on to number 3. We're looking at Amazing Spider-Man 31, and that is the first appearance of Gwen Stacy. She's killed by the Green Goblin. I know technically Spider-Man did kill her because he went to save her and snapped her neck. So, but she was going to die anyways, and it was the Green Goblin's fault. And then Spider-Man got mad, and then the Green Goblin died. Spider-Man did not kill him. Green Goblin kind of killed himself. But anyways, we're looking at about 8.0. And an 8.0 is going to run you about $1,700 roughly. I know a recent sale was $2,000, but I kind of averaged for the year so far of 2021. In 2016, they're going to average around $425. 2011, $225. 5-year return, 300%. 10-year return, 656%. So beating out the stock market, not even coming close to Amazon, but coming real close to Apple. And Amazon was just a beast in the last 10 years, and Apple's pretty good too. So, but yeah, this book will continue to get more and more popular as Spider-Gwen gets popular. So Spider-Gwen is actually not Gwen Stacy from this universe. She's from a different universe. And I believe the Marvel normal universe is the 616. I think that's what it is. But she's from a different universe. So, meh. Not really the same. All right. Number 2. We're looking at Marvel Superheroes 12, and that is the first appearance of Mar-Vell. He ended up dying of cancer in the 80s. I think they tried to bring him back, but I think he ended up dying anyways, and I want to say that was a different universe one. But he's been dead for a long time. They had a whole book on it, but 2021, you're looking at about average of $1,150. 2016, $800. 2011, $265. 5-year return of 44%. 10-year return of 334%. So not bad. This book has been going up a lot recently. Yeah, so now we're down to number 1. And before I show you number 1, if you haven't subscribed, please think about subscribing. That'd be great. Help out this channel. If you are, thank you. Feel free to leave a like and a comment, maybe of a character that's died and hasn't been brought back that should have been on this list. Now, this is like a fun list. This wasn't like, this is, it's more of just Memorial Day is here, and so I figured we can remember all the fallen heroes in comics. And a lot of characters, like I said, you might put on the list, like comment like, oh, what about this character? And I did a lot of research and to make sure that they haven't come back. That's the key. They have not been brought back. They might have been brought back, like I think Blue Beetle, but he died again anyways. So that's the key. A lot of people get brought back, but make sure they don't. They have to be actually dead. All right, so moving on to number 1. Now, have you guys guessed? I'll show you what this is. But this kind of, I'll show you, you'll understand what I mean as soon as I show you. But this kind of embodies multiple people all in once. But I didn't want to just make a list of like pretty much the same thing. All right, so number 1, we're looking at Strange Tales 97, which is the first appearance of Uncle Ben. That's what. Now, obviously, I could have put Batman's parents on here, the Waynes, and Superman's parents and all that kind of stuff. But this kind of embodies the whole thing. Like you need tragedy to basically turn the superhero to do his superhero stuff. There's a what if story where Uncle Ben lived and Peter Parker just became a super rich techie scientist guy, right? So he needed that death to really show him who he is, just like Batman did. He died by a criminal, and that's what really made Spider-Man become Spider-Man, because he was all in it for the money in the beginning and fame and fortune, trying to make his way, didn't care about stopping criminals. And, this guy ended up robbing this promoter that stiffed Peter Parker or Spider-Man, And so the guy was like, hey, stop this criminal. And he's like, nah, not my problem. And later that criminal ended up killing Uncle Ben. So now a lot of you are like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Isn't Fantasy 15 the first appearance of Uncle Ben? Kind of. Yes and no. This is actually, there's a story in Strange Tales 97 that predates Amazing Fantasy 15, a story of an Aunt May and Uncle Ben. And they're an older couple, just like Spider-Man. And this is technically, they appeared here. Now, people can say it was a prototype, but it is, I think it's a lot of times back then they would try a lot of things and just move them over to, there's multiple Doctor Stranges, Doctor Dooms, Hulks, stuff like that. And they try and just kind of rework things to see until one hits. But there was an Uncle Ben and Aunt May in this, and they kind of looked the similar, as drawn by Steve Ditko. So, and it wasn't that long until Fantasy 15 came out. So pretty sure that was the intent. But in any case, there's some new knowledge for you. And I've already done Fantasy 15, so this is more fun. All right, in 2021, you're looking at a value of $280, and this is for 4.0. In 2016, you're looking at about $300, in 2011, $100. 5-year return, you're looking at -7%, not that great. 10-year return, 180%. You can probably get a 4.0 pretty good. The return rate, obviously not that good. In a 5-year and 10-year, not that bad. But this is kind of fun to see. Different people have died and not come back, and also see non-major keys that where the character is not as relevant anymore, and some of them still keep on going up in value. Like this one right here. I mean, a lot of people probably don't even know it's the first appearance of Uncle Ben and Aunt May. And in 10 years, it's gone up 180%, which is better than Dow Jones, almost as good as the S&P 500 in the last 10 years. So, and this is just a kind of almost a random book, not that big of a key. So it's kind of interesting to see how even these minor keys and not relevant keys can also just continue to go up, and how comics are a good investment. So yeah, I hope you like this list. It's kind of fun to do, and I hope that you guys have a good Memorial weekend. All right, thanks.